What is up, MHA owners? It's Thursday night, and we're here to talk about the quarterback position. Point per completion league. So, of course, those quarterback stakes, a little different than most other fantasy football leagues, but have no fear. The MHA experts are here to give you all the information you need. And, of course, Todd Diamond is here as well. Good evening, fellas. How we doing?
Yeah. Quarterbacks. I'm ready to talk some quarterbacks. And yes, and Happy Gilmore 2 was not a bad movie, okay?
Oh, why are we bringing it up on our podcast?
I don't know. Just want to say
You
it.
liked it. That's why.
Yes.
You liked it.
I said
you
it was
laughed
good.
and had a good time.
Yeah.
Hot garbage. Just total nonsense.
Hot garbage. All right. I'm ready to talk some quarterbacks, though. I'm ready to shock the world with my number one ranked quarterback.
So you're bringing a teaser to the party, are you?
Yep, I'm bringing a teaser.
I thought he already teased him last week with that information.
Double teaser? Is that a thing?
Teaser, an underlined teaser with a tease in it. Ooh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means.
Before we get into the quarterbacks and the news, we need to finish some business from last weekend. We had the Rookies podcast, and we kind of skipped over the board bet stuff. And so we want to keep track of that as the semester goes along. And so I told you guys to give me your top pick or top rookie point scorer at each of the positions, quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. And so we'll start with the quarterback position. And is there any surprise on who Todd's going to pick as his top scoring rookie quarterback?
Nope. No surprise.
Nope. It's going to be Cam Ward.
Yep, Cam Ward from the U. It's all about the U. The U. The U. The U. The U.
Oh, my. Mikey, how about you? Are you going the number one overall pick, or do you have someone else in mind?
I'm going to surprise all of you and take Cam Ward.
Oh, wow. Hey. Way to really go out on a limb for that one. I understand that. But let's just sweep it. I think we're all going to go Cam Ward. He's going to start from day one. It may take a while, but, compared to the other rookie quarterbacks, I don't know if there's anything super thrilling or super upside that's going to bring someone above Cam Ward's point total. Obviously, injuries can change on that, but we're going to go with probably the sure thing. Let's go start with Mikey this time. Who do you think will be the top scoring rookie running back here in 2025?
Now, wait a minute. Before we get to this,
okay.
See, I didn't think about this until now. Okay. Technically, because he didn't play at all last year, wouldn't J.J. McCarthy be a rookie?
No. Can he win Rookie of the Year this year?
No, but I'm just saying, he didn't get a play.
No. Did we talk about him on our rookie podcast?
Because if he could, I'd take him over Cam Ward.
Hey, don't be trying to change the rules. I am the god when it comes to the rules. And I say sophomore quarterbacks don't count as rookies.
In the NBA, they allow that to happen.
Oh, the wonderful NBA where LeBron James, decides how everything works and how everything goes and who they worship. So I think we're going to stay away from the NBA.
I think the rest of the league should allow me to have that as a board bet.
Oh, what? What are you talking about? Anyway, Cam Ward, rookie running back. Who's it going to be? Mikey?
I'll take Ashton Genty.
Yeah, try to. Well, you know the right answer. Todd, is it Ashton Genty as well?
Yes, Ashton Genty. Mm-hmm.
Wow, these board bets going to be easy to decipher. We're going to be tied. Well, maybe wide receiver will be different because I said Ashton as well. Todd, who's your top scoring wide receiver rookie here?
All right, here's a shocker. Well,
if you say
Pat Bryant.
Oh, golly. Do you like losing? Do you pine to lose? Are you watching Happy Gilmore 2 while picking these guys?
No, absolutely not. No,
Pat Bryant.
Yep.
What's your
Pat
reason?
Bryant.
What's your reason? Why is he not going to be? What was he like, the 6th or 7th rookie wide receiver taken? Why is he gonna score all these points?
I just think people are they're underestimating him, and I think especially how the way they projected this how this Broncos offense is projected, I think he's gonna shock the world. I think he's gonna be like Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas. We're gonna go way back here to the way back machine here, but Marcus Colston from Austria.
So is this what we're just doing now? Is anytime Sean Payton drafts a player, it's going to be pick random, or not random, but pick any Saints player, and that's who they're going to be.
He did say RJ already reminded him of Alvin Kamara, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pat Bryant was the 11th rookie wide receiver drafted. 11.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Hey, it doesn't matter where you get drafted. If you can prove it on the field, who cares? Marcus Colston was a 7th round pick.
Now, had you heard of Pat Bryant before the draft?
There was whispers. I watch enough college football. You know that.
All right, I'm taking.
Go ahead, Mikey. Go ahead.
I'm taking Tet McMillan.
So he was the number 1 wide receiver drafted, rookie wide receiver drafted.
Well, no, he wasn't.
No, Travis Hunter. Sorry, I'm
Travis Hunter was. But I'll take him. I think touchdown upside with his big frame, Carolina.
Okay, I can appreciate that. I'm going to go with Matthew Golden. I believe that and we'll talk about Jordan Love as we get into it, but if he's going to have a better season, he needs to have better wide receivers. And so they drafted him for a reason. And while, Jaden Reed did catch has 17 touchdowns in those last 33 games, it was pretty much non-existent in the final 11. And a lot had to do with that because of the running game. But I think if anybody's going to make a difference, it's going to be Golden, because I just don't think him or Dobbs or any of those guys have proven that they're worthy to be a number 1 wide receiver. So let's go with Golden for the upside. And if Jordan Love's going to be anything, I think Golden's going to be a big part of that. All right. So we've gotten through that. We got to get through some news. There's a lot of it.
I don't understand what the news is. It's just like, hey, here's a bunch of you can't fix that happened that was horrible.
And we'll start with some bad baseball news for Todd. Looked like Eugenio Suarez has been traded to the D-backs, traded to the Mariners, from the D-backs, my mistake, instead of the Yankees. I know he was hoping that he would go over there, but it doesn't look like he's going to be a Yankee this year. Sorry, Todd.
That's okay. I mean, that's why we got McMahon.
So getting into the news here, I'm going to go through these quick. If you guys want to say something about it, go ahead and just interrupt me and talk about him. But Justin Jefferson suffered a very mild left hamstring injury last Friday, not considered to be serious. The team is optimistic that he will be ready for the opener. He did miss 7 games in 2023 due to a right hamstring injury, so the opposite leg. But something just to keep an eye on, because those can linger and pop up when you least expect it, especially in that first round. If there's any kind of hamstring noise going on, that could affect how things go for him. How about Breece Hall, who was one of the top scoring fantasy running backs 2 years ago, said that he doesn't expect an extension before the 2025 season because he isn't, quote, their guy. So I don't know if that is it definitely doesn't sound like good news if anybody's that's interested in drafting Breece Hall at some point in the draft, that he's not their guy. And usually if they're not your guy, they're either going to run you into the ground or ignore you and bring their own guys in. So that's something to keep an eye on. For those who are on the Dallas offensive train, Cowboys left tackle Tyler Guyton sustained a bone fracture that will require surgery, and he'll miss 4 to 6 weeks. Cortland Sutton got paid 4 years, $92 million. Sutton, who'll turn 30 in October, will head into his final year of his deal, or he was heading into his deal before he got his new contract. So Bo Nix, if he's looking to grow with Sutton, he'll have him for the next 4 years. Let's see. We probably won't be talking about the Saints quarterback position here on this episode because we're not super high on these Saints quarterbacks, but just for purposes that we need to let you know the information. Tyler Show practicing with the first team, Spencer Rattler, second team, and Jake Hayner with the third team these days. I mean, obviously that stuff can change, but right now it looks like Show's got the lead. Rashid Rice sentenced to 30 days in jail and 5 years probation, based to the reckless driving that took place last year. Now, we don't know what the NFL has decided yet on what his suspension will be. So for all those interested in Rice, make sure you pay attention to your phones and the websites and all that stuff, because a suspension probably is coming. We just don't know how many games yet. Texans running back Joe Mixon will miss most of the preseason as the 29-year-old suffered an ankle injury. It is reported that he suffered the injury in the offseason and didn't participate in OTAs or minicamp, and then landed on the non-football injury list at the start of training camp. If we don't see Mixon at all during the preseason, Mikey, does this move Nick Chubb or Dameon Pierce up in the rankings, or make it interesting, or you move Mixon down? What are your thoughts if you don't see Mixon in a preseason game?
I mean, I think there is some concern with Mixon. So yeah, I think you almost have to move him down. I want to see how the preseason plays out, because honestly, I don't have a real good belief in Nick Chubb. He still hasn't shown anything coming off that injury. And this is not a guy that we talked about last week, because I don't believe Dameon Pierce either. Watch out for that rookie that they drafted, Woody Marks.
Okay, I
the
like
running
that.
back out of USC.
So there you go. Keep an eye on Joe Mixon. Terry McLaurin back at practice after he was holding out, looking for a new contract or contract extension, but he immediately landed on the PUP list. For the Commanders wide receivers, also dealing with an ankle injury, just like Mixon. Todd, if you don't see McLaurin during the preseason, is any concerns with how you draft him this season?
Not a lot, because I think that I think they'll get a deal done, because they know like how important McLaurin is to Daniels in his development. So yeah, if a deal's not getting done, like, if he's not playing if he's not playing in preseason, but they get a deal done before the season starts, that's all that matters. So I'm not really too worried about that.
Last piece of news here. Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely will miss 6 weeks after undergoing foot surgery this past week. So for those who, Mark Andrews, those fans, Likely obviously takes a lot of snaps away from him. So if he's on the bench, that could raise his stock a little bit as we head into draft weekend. Okay, quarterback time, gentlemen. So I asked you guys to have rankings ready for me, and I believe we did. You sent them all to me, although someone sent some to us late, but that's okay. Not late. That's not the right word to use it. You updated your rankings because we were hoping to do it last night. I had some issues, and Mikey updated it. So if I'm wrong, Mikey, just yell at me if I'm wrong on who you put up here, okay?
All right, just make sure you have the right ones. I won't yell at you.
I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best here. I'm doing a couple things at one time here. But obviously, the first question is, who is your number one ranked quarterback? And before we do that, actually, I'm going to read off how the quarterbacks fared last year and how they went. So, of course, number one, Joe Burrow by a landslide, 918 points, followed by Baker Mayfield at number two. He had 854. Third was Lamar Jackson, 828 points. Jared Goff finished fourth, 788 points. Bo Nix, 751 points. He finished fifth. In the sixth spot, Josh Allen. Can believe that. Bo Nix had more fantasy points than Josh Allen last year, 741. Sam Darnold. How about that? One thing Mikey was right about last year. He was in the seventh spot. In the eighth spot, Jaden Daniels, 736 points, another rookie on this list. In the ninth spot, 726 points by Patrick Mahomes. Geno Smith in the 11th spot at 715, and Kyler Murray in the 12th at 711 points. Okay, so Joe Burrow, number one last year. Mikey, is Joe Burrow your number one overall quarterback this season?
Yes.
Hooray! Good job. Just kidding. Go ahead. Tell us why. Tell us why you like him.
I mean, not a lot has changed. I mean, when you look at Cincinnati, they're pretty much the same unit that they had last year. So, I mean, they brought back Chase, they brought back Higgins, they brought back Gesicki. They basically, everybody's back. The defense still stinks. 31st in the NFL in total defense last year. Burrow, league high, 38 pass attempts per game. Led the league in completions per game at 27. how does that change going into the year? I don't see it. So I'm not going to say that he's going to be as good or better because what he did last year was pretty historic, but I don't, for me at least right now, I don't see any way that he's not number one.
And plus two, Mikey, to that point too, their best defensive player may not play either. So that might even help Joe Burrow even more, even how bad their defense is already.
Yeah, thank you for making my point, Todd.
No
It
problem.
doesn't bother you at all. So we saw Joe Burrow a couple of years ago miss a big chunk of the season due to an injury because his offensive line can't protect him, and his offensive line is projected to be the worst once again this year. Any concerns there?
Of course, but I mean, when you make these rankings, for me, it's hard to really put injury concern into this, unless it's like they're coming back from like a catastrophic injury, or they're just somebody like we know has like a really bad injury history, like Tua with concussions. But no, in Burrow's case, I mean, his injury risk is based on his offensive line, not anything that
Like
you know,
reoccurring.
right. So if it happens, it happens. But I mean, I'm not changing my ranking
Yeah,
based
that's
on
not
it.
going to deter you into making a change at that point.
Yeah.
I also have Joe Burrow as my number one. All the same reasons. Last 3 years, the Bengals have thrown 64% of the time, which is by far the highest. And as a team, because Burrow has missed some time in there, the Bengals have 3 times as many pass TDs as running touchdowns. So they like to throw. That's where their bread and butter is. They're going to have to be playing from behind quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, I think that all makes sense. But Todd Diamond does not have Joe Burrow as his number one quarterback. Todd, you want to tell us who your main guy is?
My number one quarterback, and I know it's a shocker because he was on my team last year, and usually how
It's
I
not a
rank
shock. We
players.
all know.
I know, of course, but just shock for just for effect. Usually players that I draft on my team either did really well for me that season, or even helped me win a championship. So my number one quarterback is the rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels. Dun 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 dun. Yes, Jaden Daniels. Last season, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I just think it's the eye test. It's always the eye test. Aaron's always famous for saying that every time when he looks at a player, or when he decides to draft a player. It's the eye test. And Jaden Daniels, like from the get go, like had those wow plays and just was and he did it with obviously didn't have he had McLaurin, obviously that helped a lot and everything like that, but he ran. I mean, six rushing touchdowns, 895 yards rushing. That to me is a formula for success going forward. And obviously too. I mean, I realize too, and we see this a lot too, with rookie quarterbacks. We saw this with C.J. Stroud. Is he going to have a sophomore slump? Because obviously, when these rookies come in, teams have tape on them, but not really. They just have their college tape. They don't really have their, this is their first year in the league, so they don't have a lot on him. Now, obviously, when the season goes along, then teams are able to to try to figure it out. But he exceeded expectations like no other, and I think this year he ends up as the number one rated quarterback for fantasy this year.
Mikey,
Well,
anything you want to say about that?
well, I mean, I'll have to check the rules, but I don't think you get extra points for eye test.
Well, I know. I'm just.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I mean, it's a good thing Burrow had almost 5,000 yards passing and 43 passing touchdowns compared to 25. I mean, it's small difference, but I don't know. Just my opinion.
Sure. Well, I mean, he is 15th in completions last year compared to number 1. If we're just going over completions, which is what makes quarterbacks, passing quarterbacks, better than the running quarterbacks. And Lamar Jackson had a phenomenal season. He still didn't finish number 1 because he couldn't complete the passes as much as the other top guys of Burrow and so forth. But the thing that bothers me about Daniels, because I agree, he's a great quarterback. And I saw a great stat where it says, especially for the offense, they stay on the field during fourth downs. Last year, they had 28 attempts on fourth down, went for it, and made it on 23 of them. And so that's a huge, huge number. The thing that bothers me is that can these weapons be sustained? Like Terry McLaurin's already hurt and upset. Deebo Samuel, enough said. Noah Brown and Zach Ertz, those are the next best weapons. I don't know if that's enough to get him to the top. I mean, we see Burrow's weapons, and they're great. I wouldn't call Jaden Daniels' weapons great. Daniels can make them serviceable. I don't know if he's going to get 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns out of those guys. I mean, he's only rookie. He can get better, but I'm not going to put money on it. I'm not going to put him as my number 1 guy. If he ends up doing that, great. Now, my question for you, Todd, is where are you going to draft Jaden Daniels as your number 1? Now, I have him, and this is the full disclosure we love to have on this show. But for me, I have Jaden Daniels. I got to find him on my list here since Mikey screwed up my list here. I have him 9th on my list, and it looks like Mikey has him 4th. So where are you hoping? Where do you think? Are you going to jump up to the first couple rounds to grab him, or is it going to be more in the 3rd or 4th round? How do you envision this going down for you?
I'm envisioning him like 4th or 5th round.
Okay.
Because I think he'll still, I think Jaden Daniels will still be there. Kind of toward, I would say, end of 4th, probably middle 4th round.
Well, I mean, you can't say middle 4th round because it's where you are in the draft.
Where I'm.
So I think you're in the middle of the draft actually, but
okay,
you can't be like, well, I'm at the beginning or the end. It's like if you're gonna get him, you're in the middle of the draft, so you're hoping to maybe get him in the 4th round.
4th round. There you go. Yep.
Okay.
See, I gotta hold Todd to this though, because when we do receivers in 2 weeks, if Jaden Daniels is your top quarterback, then I would expect Terry McLaurin to be like a top 10 receiver, and Deebo somewhere in the top 30.
Yeah, well, Deebo for sure in the top 30, but McLaurin, yes, we'll be close to that top 10.
There you go. We'll see how it comes in when we get to that episode in a couple weeks here. Okay. Got to keep moving on here. We have a lot of quarterbacks to get to. So, Mikey, with Joe Burrow being your number 1, let's talk about our number 2, 3, or 4. Looking at all of our number 2s, we're all different. So, Mikey, if you want to talk about Patrick Mahomes as you have ranked number 2, this is a guy who hasn't been near the top in the last couple of years. So is this the year where we forget about him and then all of a sudden he's back into the top quarterback mix?
I think it's the perfect time to buy low. He actually had a really strong second half last year, averaged over 50 points a game after week 8, and actually tied with Burrow in completions over that time frame with 238. I think part of it was Xavier Worthy becoming more comfortable in the offense, and then Hollywood Brown came back from his injury. I would expect, or at least he says, Kelsey says he's going to be more motivated this year because he felt like he had a down year. I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen with Rashee Rice and him coming back from his injury and or suspension. So I'm not even counting that into this, but I just think after a couple of down years with an improved offensive line, possible healthy running game, I think it's a perfect time to buy low on Mahomes.
one reason I'll somewhat agree with that is here are his completions the last 4 years: 392, which was last year, and he finished ninth overall. Before that, 401, 435, and 436. So that offense throws a ton. But the last 2 years in touchdowns have been on the low end, 26 and 27, and he's not going to run a ton like the Lamar Jacksons or the Jaden Daniels. So, I mean, he had 2 rushing touchdowns last year. So he needs to bring that touchdown total up. And if there's some sort of, I mean, Xavier Worthy had a pretty decent, 2024. Can he bring up those numbers? I don't know if Kelsey's getting better. Pacheco's okay out of the backfield. If Mahomes is that good, he is good enough to bring those guys up. Todd, you have Josh Allen as your number 2. Explain to me why you like Josh Allen that high.
Well, again, Josh Allen is like obviously 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year, 3,000 yards, and obviously too, Josh Allen rushes a lot, 11 rushing touchdowns. As
he
well.
Had 12 rushing touchdowns.
12. Sorry, 12. I was reading it for the last one. Sorry. Yeah, I think again, Josh Allen is just is a bigger version of Lamar Jackson, where Josh Allen, where you can run and throw and everything in completions. I mean, he had 307 completions last year. Obviously won the MVP, so obviously he put up the numbers to warrant that. But again, the fact that he can throw and run, that definitely makes his, it makes his value even more, and obviously his weapons too around him, I mean, aren't the best, but still is able to get it done. So yeah, Josh Allen to me is the second best, is the second best quarterback probably, in fantasy next to Joe Burrow. And you could, and you know what, any other time you could flip flop those two. Like if it was Josh Allen who had 43 touchdowns and Joe Burrow had only had 28 touchdowns and 1 MVP, so you could almost flip flop those two at this point, and you'd still be in good shape.
I have Josh Allen number 2, but I don't feel great about it. His talent is absurd. He's a ridiculous quarterback. I wonder if we're over ranked. He finished 5th last year. They're on an offense that doesn't throw as much as he used to a couple of years ago. His completions the last 4 years, 307, which is absurdly low compared to like the top guys. I mean, we just saw Joe Burrow 460, but the next guys were around 400. Then he was 385, 359, and then 409 when they were, Diggs, Stephon Diggs was around, and they had to throw quite a bit. I mean, their offensive line's great, but I just don't love the weapons. Is anybody out of that bunch? And Shakir, Coleman, Josh Palmer, Dalton Kincaid, James Cook really doesn't catch the ball that much. Are we overrating? Are they going to throw? I mean, if he does exactly what he did, and they're trying to win games, not win fantasy championships, I mean, we could see similar numbers, and I feel like we're rating him too high. Am I wrong in thinking that, Miguel?
So I have him 3rd. The thing that I can't get myself away from with him is that he has 5 consecutive years of 40+ touchdowns. Like that, if you can pencil a guy in for 40+ touchdowns,
yeah,
I can't get him out of my top 5, regardless of the completions. He may not finish number 1, but he's going to finish somewhere near that top 5 if he gets 40+ touchdowns, which he has shown year after year after year he's going to do.
So you're saying his floor is not that low, or I forget what I'm trying to say there, but I mean his last year numbers aren't going to break you.
Yeah, no,
where something like you. I have Dak Prescott 3rd at this moment. He could get hurt, come back down to earth a little bit, and there's a lot of low Dak Prescott where Josh Allen's low is not that bad.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, then. What else I got? Let's keep going on with these quarterbacks here. Baker Mayfield. Speaking of number 2 guys, he finished number 2 in our point scoring last season. What I wrote down for myself is, what does for real mean? Is that finishing number 2 again? Is that top 5, top 10? I guess it's what you're willing to put your money or your draft ranking on. I'll start with Mikey this time. Baker Mayfield, how are you feeling about him after his spectacular 2024 season?
I have him 5th. I think for real means that he stays where he was last year, which was a top 10, possibly top 5 quarterback. Like, I mean, you watched Tampa play last year. This was a team that was the number one, like, first quarter passing team in the league, and they scored the most points per game in the first quarter. They're very predictable. Like, they pass heavy early to try and get ahead because their defense is so bad that they need to score points early to give themselves cushion. So, this is consecutive seasons for him in Tampa where he's been over 550 passing attempts, over 4,000 yards both years. He's got Evans returning. Kate Otton's coming back. Jalen McMillan's coming back. They draft first-round pick. Ibuka's coming in, which will give them some time for Chris Godwin in case he's not ready for, week 1. They just have weapons all over the place. Bucky Irving out of the backfield's good, too. Like, I mean, there's just, like I said, there's multiple places he can throw that football, and their defense sucks. I mean, their defense sucks again. Their division sucks. Like, I don't see how he doesn't finish top 10.
And Tampa always has one of the best put that together, offensive lines in the league. But I will say his 41 touchdowns and 378 rush yards were career highs. Not saying he couldn't do that again, but sometimes when you get those outlier seasons, not to mention they lost their offensive coordinator to another squad, things can change. But I mean, everything's in place for him to have another spectacular season. So I have him 7th, not as high as you guys, but still in the top 10. So for real, Todd, give me some thoughts about Lamar Jackson. Last year was ranked 3rd in the league. In 2023, he was 10th. It seems like we know what he's going to get rushing wise, but it depends on what year we're getting in terms of the passing side of things. How are you feeling about Lamar Jackson?
Well, I have Lamar Jackson
4th, it looks like.
Yeah, 4th in my rankings. Obviously, what he did last year, was incredible. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's biggest thing for Moses' career was we know he can run. We know he can run and everything like that. There's nothing there, there's no denying that. But obviously the passing, and he, showed that last year. It's interesting with Lamar Jackson is, especially with our league, it's the completions with running quarterbacks. It's like, okay, that's great. You're getting you're getting those rushing yards, but you're not getting as many completions. Now, obviously, Lamar has learned, to throw a little bit more so he can, stay healthy. Obviously, Lamar Jackson can put up crazy numbers, put up crazy video game numbers, and so forth. So, yeah, I have him 4th. I mean, if he's, again, what I know this is kind of contradicting what with Jaden Daniels, but what I choose if it was Joe Burrow or Josh Allen that were there over Lamar Jackson, I would obviously that's why I have Joe Burrow and Josh Allen over Lamar over him. So it's interesting. It's always with the weapons too. I mean, how good is his weapons and everything throughout the years and so forth. So, I'm I don't know. It's like I want to draft him because he can put up crazy numbers, but also too, I'm like, I want a quarterback that's that's going to throw more. I want to throw first, and that's why I think Jaden Daniels is gonna that's why I like Jaden Daniels, because he throws first more than he runs. So.
Well, we know why you like Jaden Daniels, but that's besides the point. Lamar Jackson's 41 touchdowns were by far career high. He had 36 5 years ago, but since then, 24, 17, 16. Mikey quickly he's someone that can do this again. Do you feel confident in that? You have him ranked 6 like I do.
He can, but the one thing that I wrote about Lamar Jackson as I was kind of looking through was that I put concern as health, and I wasn't talking about his health. Um, so Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Derrick Henry. I don't think I've ever seen this before in a season, and this is where you can say there was a little bit of luck involved. Between those five weapons, which are their top five weapons, 17 games, they missed one total game between the five,
Ooh,
and that was
fuck.
Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
That's not happening again. And as we see, Isaiah Likely's hurt already.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's something to look for.
And I think this team, they were second to last in pass attempts. And so a lot, and that's efficient to be able to have that low of a completion number and throw 41 touchdowns. That's tough to replicate, but he's an incredible player. So we'll see how that goes. Let's keep moving on here. Dak returns from injury. How do we feel about America's QB, Miguel?
I feel good. You know, I'm a Dak guy.
Oh, I know you are. That's the only thing I
Yeah.
think I
So
feel like we agree on most of the time is Dak.
for for me, the only concern is health.
Yeah.
The last 3 seasons of him playing the full season, he averages 25 completions a game. 4,600 yards passing and 34 touchdowns a season. I mean, that's top five,
Yeah.
honestly. He's going to have a healthy Lamb that's in training camp this year. Jake Ferguson got extended. He's healthy. And they added George Pickens and still have a questionable running game. So what's not to like?
I love it. Number 3. I almost wanted to put him above Josh Allen based on all the stuff we talked about in terms of concerns, but Javonte Williams is their best running back at the moment. And what does he do? Well, he catches passes out of the backfield. So throw, throw, throw. He has disappointed me in the past, obviously, but I try not to let that linger when I make these decisions. But yeah, all these arrows are pointing up. 2 years ago, second in points with 825. And so he was hurt last year and should be 100% heading into this season. So big Dak guy myself. Let's see what's next on our list here for Todd here. We talked about sophomore slumps. Obviously, Todd doesn't think Jaden Daniels is, but Todd, any sophomore slump for Broncos quarterback Bo Nix?
I don't think so. I think Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix aren't gonna have big sophomore slumps. I mean, obviously it obviously could happen. I'm not denying it, but I really think they're not gonna have those big sophomore slumps. They might have just maybe a smidge, maybe a few, maybe like 1 or 2 weeks or something. But I don't think they're gonna have. I just don't think they're gonna have those slumps that we saw from like CJ Stroud and so forth. I think they're both in a position where they're gonna it's gonna pass them. The sophomore slump's gonna skip them. It's gonna see like nope. They're just gonna continue on and not have any problems going forward.
Mikey, do you think either Bo Nix or Daniels has a sophomore slump in their second season?
I hate to use the word slump because that to me that means that they're going to be bad, which I don't think either one is.
So, all right, fair enough. Will they finish lower than where they finished last year? Bo Nix 5th, Daniels 8th.
Yeah, I think Bo Nix will finish lower. I've got him at 9th. I think the reason that would be is not a slight on Bo Nix. It's just that this is a team that is built, the Broncos are based on their defense. And last year, I mean, Bo Nix was so touchdown heavy. Like he
Yes.
had, 29 touchdowns, and with RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, we're expecting an improved running game. And so I just feel like, Nix could go from like 29 touchdowns to like 24, but the team is still good, and
That
we're
defense,
just
baby.
scoring. Yeah, we're just scoring more via the run.
Yeah. And with our defense being even better than last year, they're not pining. This isn't like, a Dallas situation or a Cincinnati situation where they need to throw 40 times a game. They're going to do what they have to do to win games. And so they'll rely on the run game. Our defense is going to keep the opposition from scoring. So does Bo Nix throw 376 completions once again? He may not have to in order to be successful. So, I mean, I still think he's going to be good enough just because we've seen the history of what quarterbacks do in the Saints offense. And so I still have him inside my top 10, but I don't know, fifth might be asking a little bit too much. So we continue on here. What do we have next? Returning to form. A couple of these quarterbacks had struggles here in 2024, I should say. Who has the best chance to get back to that fantasy stardom? I have 4 names up here, and I'm going to have you guys take one of them, and I'll start with Mikey, and you can pick who you want out of these guys. I said, could Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, Kyler Murray, or Justin Herbert return to fantasy stardom? Which one of those guys do you want to talk about? None of them?
I don't.
Are you going none of them?
Well, I don't. You said fantasy stardom, which is a very tough one for me because I don't think any of them are like fantasy stardom. I'll take the highest rated of the 4.
My goodness, picking my words apart.
So I'll talk about Kyler Murray. I have him rated 12th. I have him kind of in that same range as like Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts. Kyler Murray is a guy like this offense started to get, a little bit better down the stretch. It'd be difficult for me to believe that somebody as good as Trey McBride is only going to have, what do you have, 1 touchdown for like almost the majority of the year.
NFL record, I think.
Yeah, that's got to get better. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be better, in his second year. James Conner's a decent enough running back, but I think they may shift a little bit more to the pass. So I have Kyler Murray rated ahead of those other guys. Herbert is what he is. I just don't like that offense. Stroud, I think him losing Diggs and Tank Dell's going to hurt a little bit. And Jordan Love, I don't believe in, so I'm interested to see what you guys say about him.
Okay, Todd, out of CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, and Justin Herbert, who do you want to talk about?
I'll say Jordan Love. I have Jordan Love ranked 11th in my rankings. I think, again, obviously it was a lot of the Josh Jacobs show last year for that offense, but I think Jordan Love, they went out and got a wide receiver for him. I just think there's still that potential there for him to get back into form. So I think Jordan Love will be back to form this year.
Yeah, Mikey doesn't like Jordan Love, by the way. Just looking through his rankings. Mikey, where do you have him? So Mikey sent me 2 rankings. He sent me one a couple days ago, and then he updated them. And Jordan Love got worse since that day. He went from 21st to 25th. So Mikey is not. I have him ranked 12th. Todd 11th. Mikey, just quickly because we need to keep going. But why don't you like Jordan Love?
It was actually the other way around. He went from 25 to 21.
So you're right. You're right. Thank you. Oh, you improved. My mistake. See, I told you I'd screw this up. But go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to say, I am a hater on Jordan Love, and it's not Jordan Love's fault. I actually think that Jordan Love is a good quarterback. But I'm more about you showing me what you are. And I mean this from the Packers' approach to things. 2 years ago when Jordan Love was great down the stretch, it was almost out of necessity because Aaron Jones was banged up. They didn't really have a running game, and so they were forced into making him throw, and he was really, really good. That's why there was a lot of hype surrounding him going into last year. Then Josh Jacobs came in, and he was the number 1 running back on attempts, 40 attempts inside the 10-yard line. So this is a team that is run first. I mean, Green Bay was one of the lowest completion teams in the league, 18 a game, which is just not good. That's why he was so inconsistent last year. And it's when they get in the red zone, they prefer to run the ball. And so why that would change after Josh Jacobs was as good as he was last year, I mean, I realize they drafted a first round wide receiver, but why would they go away from what worked?
Yes, a lot of that I agree with. I think he also dealt with a ton of injuries, MCL, groin, knee injuries, which affects all types of your game, especially running the ball. He definitely went down from 2023 to 2024 in terms of his rushing ability. And I think that's what helped him be great. And they may not ask him now that Josh Jacobs is there and really kind of change things around. But before his injuries, they were averaging close to 35 pass attempts per game. Injuries came, and then Josh Jacobs excelled, and then went to 26 per game from week 9 on. So I think there's something there. I think he's a really talented quarterback, as you say. And if Golden comes into the mix, and they have Kraft there as well. We'll see what we get out of Jaden Reed and Dobbs and so forth. But yeah, I'm not as low on or as low on him as you are, but I think I don't know. Maybe I've just seen something from, and it might be what we saw in that end of the 2023 season. Like, man, this guy's pretty good, and that'll kind of help me take over to for what I cannot explain why I like CJ Stroud at number 13. I can go through all the negatives, right? O-line stunk, and it's not getting any better. Sacked
Got rid of
52.
Tunsil.
Yep, and sacked 52 times. They did sign 3 new players to help bolster that, but who knows how long that'll take to go. Last year, team dealt with a ton of injuries, and they, like as you mentioned, Diggs is gone. Tank Dell may not play this year. Joe Mixon dealing with an injury right now. They were 12th in the NFL in pass attempts last year, so there's something. I think it's just I'm so enamored of what he did in his rookie year. He had 10 games of 2 or more touchdowns. He had that one game where it was almost 500 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. I'm not ready to throw him away yet. And so I wonder if I have him too high, and that's something I'll think about as we go along. I have Jalen Hurts behind him. And my big thing with Hurts is completions. And CJ Stroud had more completions than him last year. He's obviously not going to run to the extent, but like Trevor Lawrence, he's a hit or miss. Caleb Williams, maybe there's some upside. So I'm worried I have CJ Stroud a little too high at 13. But I guess I'm just not ready to throw him away and just put him past 20. But I could pay for that if that's being on my team. So I don't feel super confident, but I like his upside better than most. We'll continue on here. I told you guys where are we at here. We have about 12 minutes. So I told you guys give me a sleeper quarterback, a bust quarterback, and a quarterback that's going outside the top 15. We'll see if we have time. We'll get to sleeper and bust for sure. Todd, give me a sleeper quarterback.
I'm gonna go with Drake May.
Okay.
From New England. Obviously he kind of came in kind of mid-season, kind of up and down a little bit, but he showed, he definitely showed some flashes, kind of toward the end of the season as well. I mean, they got some weapons in there. I mean, Stephon Diggs. I mean, obviously, got to stay healthy, of course. But I think he might surprise some people. I mean, I have him ranked
19.
So 19. So that's I think definitely interesting. Obviously second year in the system and everything like that. That's the thing too. We always, whether it's in reality or fantasy, is if they're coming into their second season and they have the same coaches and the same system around them, that just helps their development. Take that for whatever it's worth. So
they have a new coach, right? In New England.
Oh, it was, yeah. Yeah, right. You're right. You're right.
Vrabel,
You're right.
I think.
Yeah, Vrabel. Yeah, you're right. But I just think, maybe retracting what I just said about coming in with the new system, coming into the old system, same system as last year. But I think maybe, I don't know, a fresh philosophy, maybe, I mean, obviously I know the coach before was on the staff and everything. And but, I think Drake May definitely will. I think he definitely will improve a little. I mean, 23 touchdowns projected. That's usually maybe you want to see that in your first year as a rookie, but the fact he came in, later in the season definitely, hurt a little, it changed a little bit of the narrative a little bit. But I'll say Drake May.
Mikey, give me a sleeper quarterback for this season.
It's easy for me. It's a bullseye. JJ McCarthy for me.
Yeah, you are really high on him. At least just like in talks with us on the sideline or whatever.
Yeah, for me, I mean, this is a team and an offense like in the 3 years as head coach, Kevin O'Connell, his teams have finished, top 6 in yards, top 5 in touchdowns, twice in the top 4 in passing attempts. They've got one of the best receivers in the game in Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison's an up and coming guy. TJ Hawkinson, is back. Their running game is, I wouldn't call it iffy, but it's not going to be a run heavy team. I just believe in O'Connell as a great coach and a great developer. And I just think on sheer numbers that McCarthy is going to find his way into that top 15.
Yeah, he is definitely one more of the polarizing guys. Todd, go for it.
I was gonna say, Mikey, if that's the case, then would you draft? I mean, would you draft him as your backup?
100%.
Wow,
I'm not afraid of it at all.
No, I think you almost have to, based on what we saw from Sam Darnold, which is bananas because I was shitting on Sam Darnold like no other going into last year, and he was phenomenal, and now he got a big contract elsewhere, so we'll see where he ends up finishing. But this is also a guy that hasn't yet taken a snap in the NFL, so that scares me a little bit. But we'll see how the quarterback whisperer and Kevin O'Connell can do. I mean, he's been in the system, he understands what's needed, but nothing's like seeing real fire, real bullets on a football field. My sleeper quarterback is going to be Caleb Williams. He's got everything there. I mean, his weapons are crazy good, but his offensive line did him no favors. Now, a lot of that was on him too. 68 times he was sacked last year. The offensive line, they brought in guys to improve it. It's projected to be a top 15 unit, so I think that's going to help them. Ben Johnson, who was the orchestrator for the Lions offense, is in there as well. And Williams still had 351 completions. So if he can add 20 completions and a couple more touchdowns, he also had 489 rushing yards with 0 rush touchdowns. So I believe those numbers will go up a little bit as well. He could be someone that jumps into the top 10 and be fantasy worthy because he's had games. He's also had bad games too. But that's who I would pick as my sleeper. Everything's there for him. And if it doesn't work out, then maybe there's something wrong with him. Mikey, give me a bust quarterback.
Already talked about him. My bust quarterback's Jordan Love.
Yes.
Like I said, I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's in the situation to make him I think there's a difference between good quarterback and good fantasy quarterback. I don't think that his weapons stack up against everyone else's. Like, it's hard for me to figure out who in there is a top 30 guy. So yeah, Jordan Love's my best.
I hate it, but I understand. Todd, give me a bust quarterback.
This one's kind of easy a little bit. Maybe not a
Joe Burrow.
Maybe not a bust quarterback. Well, he is, but because I have him ranked so low anyway. But it's gonna be Aaron Rodgers. I don't know.
Is that a bust? Unless you have him ranked 30th.
I have him ranked 27th. It's pretty close. But
I mean, I guess because I don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Continue.
All right. Well, let me put it. Okay. Let me put it this. I have another one as a backup one. I'll say Sam Darnold. Just because he's going from Minnesota to Seattle. The offensive line in Seattle isn't as great as it was in Minnesota, and again, not to give Mikey any credit as much as I don't want to, but the whole ghost thing, when Sam Darnold sees those ghosts, he gets a little
saw jumpy, the ghost for 2 games out of all of that. You ready to put him into the toilet? You ready to flush him down the toilet? Mikey, you ready to flush him down the toilet?
Nope.
You have him ranked 22nd. I have him 21st. Todd has him 24th. But based on where he finished last year, 7th, I could see why you would pick him as a bust. I will say, and we already talked about it, but Josh Allen, what's considered a bust? Is it outside the top 10? that's hard to say, but just based on everything I talked about, Josh Allen earlier, in terms of them wanting to run the ball more, his completions are at an all-time low. His passing touchdowns are low. I don't like his weapons very much, so I could see a season where he finishes 8-12. Is that bust? Probably, based on where we were drafting him. So I'll say Josh Allen. We have about 4 minutes, so let's go through rapid fire, and then we'll get out of here. Okay. So I'm just gonna ask. I only have like 5 questions, but I'm gonna ask you guys a quick question. You guys just say yes or no. That's all I want is yes or no. No, well, if this happens or that happens, I just want yes or no. And Todd, if you fail this, you can't be on next week's show.
Okay.
So we'll see. I don't think Todd's going to be able to get through this, but let's go. Okay, question number 1. With all of those weapons, as I mentioned with Caleb Williams, can he be a top 12 quarterback? Yes or no?
No.
Mikey? Todd says no. Mikey?
Yes.
I will say yes as well. Any hope for Trevor Lawrence after the drafting of Travis Hunter? Yes, Mikey, or no?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
I will also say yes. The arrow is pointing down for the Miami's offense. Is Tua top 12? Todd, yes or no?
No.
Mikey?
Yes.
I'm going to say yes too. We kind of talked about it, but I'll ask it anyway. From Sam Darnold to JJ McCarthy, is the new Vikings quarterback fantasy worthy, Mikey?
Oh, 100% yes.
Todd? What is fantasy worthy? I guess it should probably top 15.
I gotta say neutral because I can't.
Neutral.
No.
You failed this test. You have failed the
last.
test.
Okay, no.
Can't be on the show next week. Everybody, sorry, no Todd next week. If anybody else wants to join on, please let us know. I will say yes. Last question. Is Michael Penix Jr. worthy of a backup and see what happens type of quarterback? Todd, yes or no?
No.
Mikey?
Sure, yes.
I will say yes as well. All right. Todd, what's coming up on next week's show that you will not be a part of?
Well, it is the I guess you say the dime a dozen or the dime a dozen running backs. Are running backs a dime a dozen? Do you have to draft? Do you have to get those top guys, or can you wait? You'll have to find out on next week's podcast.
There you go. Oh man, running backs next week. We're coming up on an hour here. Quarterbacks, fun. Is it deep? Is it not deep? You guys can decide. But we need to get out of here on the MHA podcast. Mikey, we actually have football on Thursday.
Hooray! It's going to be full of backups, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hey, it's football. It's football. Who cares?
Football.
It's football.
And our baseball teams aren't doing anything, so maybe we'll watch some football. All right, but we got to get out of here. MHA podcast, Mikey Renaud, Todd Diamond, Eric Lansing. Music's not working. We'll fix it in post. We'll see you next time.